Welcome to Discovery Dynamics. Today, we're sharing 40 incredible facts that never shared with you. From history to science, get ready for a journey full of surprises. Let's dive in. A single US dollar bill costs about 5.4 cents to produce. This includes the cost of materials, printing, and labor. The U.S. Bureau of Engraving and Printing manufactures dollar bills using a special blend of cotton and linen, which gives the bills their distinctive texture. Interestingly, a dollar bill can last much longer than other forms of paper currency. On average, it stays in circulation for about 5.8 years before being replaced due to damage. Coffee grounds can absorb odors. Used coffee grounds are excellent at absorbing unwanted smells. They can be placed in refrigerators, freezers, or rooms to neutralize strong odors like garlic, fish, or smoke. The grounds work by attracting and trapping odor molecules. However, it's important to dry out the coffee grounds before using them for odor absorption, as fresh, damp grounds can start to develop mold over time. In Japan, it's possible to hire a proxy apologizer or a professional apology service to apologize on your behalf. This unique service is often used in situations where a person feels too embarrassed or emotionally distant to express a proper apology, such as in business or personal matters. The hired apology expert will deliver a heartfelt and formal apology, ensuring that the person at fault expresses the appropriate level of regret and remorse. This highlights Japan's deep cultural emphasis on honor and social harmony, where maintaining respectful relationships is highly valued. The idea of kissing donkeys can relieve toothache is based on an ancient and somewhat strange belief, particularly from folklore. In some cultures, people believed that the act of kissing certain animals, like donkeys, could have healing powers. The belief may stem from the notion that animals, especially those considered strong or magical, could transfer their energy to humans in the process. During World War II, English soldiers used unique passwords that exploited linguistic differences to prevent enemy infiltration. One famous example was the use of words like Lollapalooza, which were difficult for German soldiers to pronounce because of their lack of the L sound in certain positions. This technique relied on the fact that certain sounds and syllables were unfamiliar or impossible for speakers of other languages, making it easy to spot imposters. Certain types of fungi can take control of an insect's behavior. One well-known example is a fungus that infects ants. The fungus spreads inside the ant's body and releases chemicals that make the ant leave its colony and climb a plant. Once the ant is high up and attached to the plant, the fungus kills it and releases spores, which then fall to the ground to infect other ants. This strange process makes it seem like the fungus is controlling the ant's mind. The average person has about 100,000 to 150,000 hair strands on their head, and each strand can support up to 100 grams of weight. Collectively, your hair could theoretically support the weight of 2 elephants, showcasing just how incredibly strong it is despite its delicate appearance. Amazingly, hair also absorbs oil, which is why it has been used to clean up oil spills in environmental efforts. The penguins we call by that name today aren't the same as the ones that existed in the past. Many species of penguins that once roamed the earth have gone extinct, and the ones we see today are just a fraction of what once existed. In fact, the fossil record shows that ancient penguins were much larger, some even standing as tall as humans. These extinct penguins lived in different climates and had different adaptations that allowed them to thrive. Hiccups that last for an entire lifetime are incredibly rare, but they do happen in extreme cases. Known as persistent or intractable hiccups, these are hiccups that last for more than 48 hours, and in some cases, they can persist for years. The longest recorded case of hiccups lasted for 68 years, with Charles Osborne experiencing them continuously from 1922 until 1990. Persistent hiccups can be caused by a variety of factors, including nerve damage, brain disorders, or metabolic imbalances, and they can significantly affect a person's quality of life. NASA accidentally erased the original tapes of the Apollo 11 moon landing. The tapes, which contained the first live television broadcast of Neil Armstrong's historic step onto the moon in 1969, were erased and reused in the 1980s due to a shortage of magnetic data tapes at the time. NASA had kept the tapes in storage, but when the demand for tape increased, they were mistakenly reused for other purposes. The original footage was lost, but lower quality copies of the broadcast still exist, allowing us to view the moon landing today, though not in the highest quality originally captured. A fascinating fact about Bank of America is that it traces its origins back to 1904 when it was founded as Bank of Italy in San Francisco by A.P. Giannini. It was initially created to serve immigrants who were often excluded from mainstream banking. The bank's breakthrough moment came during the Great Depression when Giannini boldly kept his branches open, providing loans to small businesses, which helped many people survive the economic collapse. Samsung's first product was indeed noodles. The company was founded in 1938 by Lee Byung-chul as a trading company in South Korea. Its initial focus was on food processing, and its first product was a small noodle business. Samsung later expanded into various industries, including textiles, insurance, and electronics. It wasn't until the late 1960s that Samsung ventured into electronics. The CIA once tried to bribe Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser to join the Middle East Defense Organization, NATO. They offered him a large sum of money, but Nasser accepted the money and still refused to join. Instead, he pursued a policy of non-alignment and sought closer ties with the Soviet Union. This incident reflects the challenges the U.S. faced in influencing Middle Eastern leaders during the Cold War. Pirates is that the Jolly Roger flag, often associated with pirate ships, wasn't always a symbol of terror. Different pirate crews used variations of the flag, but the iconic black flag with a skull and crossbones was actually meant to intimidate enemy ships into surrendering without a fight. Pirates like Blackbeard would often add personal touches to their flags, such as a blood-red version that signified no mercy would be shown. This psychological warfare was just as important as the pirates' sword-fighting skills. The Suez Canal was closed for nearly 8 years starting in 1967. This happened after the Six-Day War between Israel and several Arab nations, including Egypt. In June 1967, following the conflict, Egypt closed the canal to prevent Israeli ships from using it. The closure lasted until 1975, when it was reopened after a ceasefire agreement and the end of hostilities between Egypt and Israel. The closure had a significant impact on global shipping, as the Suez Canal is a critical trade route connecting the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea. The average person walks 5 laps around the world over the course of their lifetime. If you consider the average person walks about 7,500 steps a day, that adds up to around 2,700,000 steps a year. Over an average lifetime of 70 years, this distance is roughly equivalent to walking around the Earth's equator, about 24,901 miles, 5 times. This impressive number illustrates how much we walk in a lifetime, even though we might not realize it day to day. Mary Surratt was the first woman to be executed by the U.S. federal government. She was convicted of conspiring in the assassination of President Abraham Lincoln in 1865. Surratt owned a boarding house where the conspirators, including John Wilkes Booth, planned the assassination. Despite maintaining her innocence, she was sentenced to death and executed by hanging on July 7, 1865. Her execution remains controversial, as many believe she was unfairly tried and may not have had a direct role in the assassination. Minecraft is that it has its own in-game currency called Minecoins, but what's even more fascinating is that Minecraft's world is almost infinite. The game uses a system that generates a procedurally infinite world, meaning it's technically impossible to explore every part of it, even if you played for a year. The game's world stretches over 60 trillion blocks in every direction, offering endless possibilities for exploration, creativity. The 428 Cobra jet, one of Ford's most legendary high-performance engines, was indeed created by accident. In the late 1960s, Ford engineers were originally designing a more standard 390 cubic inch V8 engine for their muscle cars, but a mix-up during the manufacturing process resulted in a more powerful version. The engine that emerged, with its larger 428 cubic inches and improved performance features, ended up being far more powerful than initially planned. This unexpected outcome led to the creation of the 428 Cobra jet, which became a dominant force in drag racing and cemented its place in muscle car history. Levi's jeans is that they were originally created for miners during the California Gold Rush in 1850. Levi Strauss, a German immigrant, was selling dry goods to miners when he realized they needed stronger pants to withstand the rough conditions. He partnered with a tailor named Jacob Davis, and together they added copper rivets to the pockets to reinforce them, creating the first pair of durable denim jeans. These jeans became so popular that they eventually evolved into the iconic Levi's 501 style, which remains one of the most popular and recognizable jeans in the world today. The Kalmar Union, 1397 to 1523, was a remarkable political alliance that united the kingdoms of Denmark, Sweden, and Norway under a single monarch. Established by Queen Margaret I of Denmark, it was intended to strengthen the Scandinavian kingdoms against external threats, particularly from the Hanseatic League and Germany. However, tensions soon arose, especially between Denmark and Sweden, leading to several uprisings and internal conflicts. The union eventually dissolved when Sweden formally broke away in 1523, marking the end of the Kalmar Union, but its legacy continues to influence Scandinavian relations today. Facebook is that the platform's original logo was designed by Mark Zuckerberg himself in just a few minutes. He used a simple font and a blue color scheme, which was inspired by his colorblindness, as he sees blue more vividly than other colors. The iconic thumbs up like button, which became a symbol of Facebook, was also introduced later and has since become one of the most recognized symbols on the internet. Despite its humble beginnings, Facebook has transformed into a massive global platform that has reshaped how people communicate and share information. The Enigma machine was a cipher device used by Nazi Germany during World War II to encrypt military communications. It worked by using a series of rotating wheels and a secret key to transform plain text into a complex code. Despite its complexity, Allied cryptanalysts, including Alan Turing, managed to break the Enigma code, which played a crucial role in shortening the war. However, some parts of the Enigma code and certain encryption keys were lost or never fully recovered, leaving gaps in the deciphered messages. The highest capital city in the world is La Paz, the seat of government for Bolivia. Located at a staggering altitude of around 11,975 feet, 3,650 meters, above sea level, it sits in a valley surrounded by mountains. The city is renowned for its dramatic landscape and its proximity to the towering Mount Yamani, which rises to over 21,000 feet, 6,438 meters. Due to its extreme height, visitors often face altitude sickness, but La Paz remains a stunning and unique destination. One of the biggest car crashes in history occurred in 1989 during the San Bernardino car pileup in California. A dense fog caused a chain reaction involving over 200 vehicles, including cars, trucks, and buses. The crash resulted in 17 fatalities and more than 150 injuries. This massive pileup is considered one of the most devastating and shocking car accidents in U.S. history, highlighting the dangers of poor visibility and high-speed driving in hazardous weather conditions. It serves as a reminder of how quickly an accident can escalate under the right, or wrong, circumstances. The Santiago Bernabéu Stadium is not just a football arena, it is a symbol of Real Madrid's rich history and success. Located in the heart of Madrid, Spain, it has been the home of Real Madrid CF since 1947. The stadium is named after Santiago Bernabéu, a club legend who was responsible for transforming the team into one of the most powerful football clubs in the world. Over the years, the Bernabeu has hosted legendary moments in football, including European Cup/Champions League finals and matches featuring some of the sport's greatest players. Banana phobia, also known as banana phobia, is an irrational fear of bananas. People with this phobia might feel anxious, scared, or even repulsed by the sight, smell, or texture of bananas. Like other specific phobias, banana phobia can be triggered by past negative experiences, such as a traumatic event involving the fruit, or even through learned behavior. It's a rare phobia, but it can be distressing for those who experience it. Treatment, such as cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, can help individuals gradually overcome their fear and develop healthier associations with bananas. One of the biggest insurance scandals in history is the Enron scandal in the early 2000s. While Enron was primarily an energy company, it was involved in a massive insurance fraud scheme that contributed to its collapse. Enron's executives used off-balance sheet partnerships and fraudulent accounting practices to hide the company's debt and inflate its profits, including misrepresenting insurance policies. When the truth came out, Enron filed for bankruptcy in 2001, and its top executives were convicted of fraud, leading to significant changes in U.S. financial regulations, including the Sarbanes-Oxley Act to prevent similar corporate fraud. Part of the sheep's gut can be used in the traditional process of making yogurt. In some cultures, the rennet, a natural enzyme found in the stomach lining of ruminant animals like sheep, is used to help curdle the milk. Rennet contains enzymes that break down proteins in milk, allowing it to coagulate and form curds. Historically, people would use the stomach lining of sheep, goats, or cows to create rennet, which is still used today in the production of cheeses and sometimes yogurt. A shocking fact about the Pacific Ocean is that it is home to the Bering Sea and the Bering Strait, where the distance between Russia and Alaska is only about 2.5 miles, 4 kilometers. This narrow stretch of water has played a key role in the migration of humans and animals between continents. During the Ice Age, it is believed that the Bering Land Bridge connected Asia and North America, allowing early humans to cross into the Americas. Today, despite the close proximity of the two continents, the region is treacherous with extreme cold, strong currents, and unpredictable weather. In space, astronauts experience a surprising change in their hearts actually shrink and become more spherical. This occurs due to the lack of gravity, which means that the heart doesn't have to work as hard to pump blood throughout the body. On Earth, gravity pulls blood down toward the lower half of the body, requiring the heart to work against this force. In space, however, blood shifts toward the upper body and head, causing the heart to become more rounded and smaller over time. This fascinating change is one of the many ways space affects the human body, requiring astronauts to undergo special training and health monitoring during long missions. Mussels is that they can live for up to 20 years in the wild, and during that time, they can travel long distances. Mussels have the ability to detach and reattach themselves to different surfaces by releasing and reattaching their byssal threads, allowing them to migrate across the ocean floor. Some mussels even have the ability to glow in the dark, a phenomenon known as bioluminescence, which they use to deter predators. This amazing adaptation makes them both fascinating and resilient creatures in marine ecosystems. The speed at which the Earth rotates is actually changing over time, but very slowly. The Earth's rotation is gradually slowing down due to a phenomenon called tidal friction caused by the gravitational pull between the Earth and the Moon. As the Moon's gravity causes ocean tides, it creates friction that slows Earth's rotation, transferring some of the Earth's rotational energy to the Moon, making it move slightly farther away. On average, Earth's day gets 1.7 milliseconds longer every century. This gradual slowing of Earth's rotation is so slow that it is imperceptible on human timescales but has significant long-term effects. Dogs have an incredible sense of smell, and they can indeed sense your fear. When you're anxious or scared, your body releases certain chemicals, such as adrenaline, and your sweat glands produce a distinct scent. Dogs have about 300 million scent receptors, compared to humans' 5 million, making them highly sensitive to these changes. As a result, they can pick up on your emotions and react to them, often by becoming more alert, anxious, or even protective. This extraordinary ability helps dogs in their roles as service animals, emotional support companions, and in law enforcement. It is possible to die from a broken heart, though it's extremely rare. This phenomenon is known as Takotsubo cardiomyopathy or stress-induced cardiomyopathy, often referred to as broken heart syndrome. It occurs when intense emotional stress, such as grief or heartbreak, leads to a temporary disruption in the heart's normal functioning, causing symptoms similar to a heart attack. The condition typically results in the weakening of the heart's left ventricle, which can cause chest pain, shortness of breath, and heart failure. While it can be life-threatening, most people recover with proper medical treatment, but in some cases, it can lead to death, particularly if not treated promptly. If you had $1 billion in $1 bills, it would weigh about as much as a small car. To put it into perspective, if you spent $1,000 every day, it would take you nearly 3 years to spend just $1 million. But to blow through $1 billion? It would take you thousands of years. It's incredible how much value $1 billion really holds when you think about it in terms of weight and time. In fact, if you stacked $1 billion in $100 bills, the stack would reach over 600 feet high, taller than the Statue of Liberty. In 1976, Citizen Watch revolutionized the watch industry by creating the world's first solar-powered watch, the EcoDrive. What makes it even more impressive is that this innovative technology doesn't just rely on sunlight, it can be powered by any light source, meaning you'll never need to change a battery again. Today, millions of EcoDrive watches are being worn around the world, helping reduce waste while keeping time with precision. Citizen has truly combined sustainability with cutting-edge technology, making it a favorite for both watch enthusiasts and eco-conscious consumers alike. Siamese cats is that they are born completely white, and their iconic color points, darker fur on their ears, face, paws, and tail, develop over time due to a unique genetic trait. This trait is temperature sensitive, meaning the colder parts of their bodies, like their extremities, develop the darker coloration, while the warmer parts, like their bodies, remain lighter. The Siamese's striking blue eyes are also a result of a specific genetic mutation, giving them their stunning, almond-shaped gaze. Folic acid is that it plays a crucial role in DNA synthesis and is vital for cell division. This makes it especially important during periods of rapid growth, such as pregnancy, where it helps prevent birth defects like spina bifida. Folic acid is also known to help in the production of red blood cells, and a deficiency can lead to anemia, causing fatigue and weakness. What's particularly fascinating is that while folic acid is found naturally in foods like leafy greens and citrus, it's often added to foods like cereal and bread to help prevent deficiencies in the population. One of the most dangerous toys in history was the Easy Bake Oven from the 1960s. While it was marketed as a fun way for children to bake small treats, it contained an extremely hot light bulb that could cause burns. Many children were injured due to accidental burns while using the oven, leading to multiple recalls and safety improvements over the years. Another infamous dangerous toy was the lawn darts, also known as jarts, which were banned in the US in 1988 after causing numerous injuries, including punctured lungs and other life-threatening wounds. These toys served as stark reminders of how safety standards in toys have evolved over time. And there you have it, 40 incredible facts to spark your curiosity and expand your horizons. If you enjoyed this journey through surprising stories and fascinating details, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Discovery Dynamics for more engaging explorations. Which fact amazed you the most? Let us know in the comments below, and stay tuned for more discoveries coming your way.